tell us about this fascinating story about trying to figure out who gets a piece of that money that's being made in North Dakota over the gushers of oil coming out of there these days.
Right, exactly. So, before oil came to North Dakota, before they could really get into some of this oil beneath the Missouri River, no one really cared about these muddy banks of the river. But now that oil and essentially millions of dollars are trapped underneath, the state has been trying to lease it to oil companies, and citizens are saying, hey, that's actually our land. And both are pointing to different state laws that seem to give them ownership, but obviously, new state laws are just being claimed anew, are being tested anew by claims over suddenly valuable mineral rights.
But what's the principle here? I mean, this is fracking basically involves going very deep in the ground and then drilling horizontally. So who in theory, who owns the rights? Is it the people who were directly over it? Is it the people on whose land the drill was put? I mean, what's the principle behind resolving these disputes?
It's a very good question, and it's going to be tested in courts, not only in North Dakota, but in Pennsylvania and West Virginia as well, where there are also legal challenges to this sort of drilling. And essentially, in North Dakota, on this shore zone, it's essentially the land between the high and low water marks. It's about who owns the mineral rights there. And actually, one state law says the landowners do, another state law says the state does, and a state Supreme Court decision in 1994 ruled that their interests in the area are coexistent and overlap. So not much help there.
Hey, Jack, the country's desperate for oil. The presidential candidates are talking about self-sufficiency. Natural gas as well, obviously, is sort of booming, and we think we're on this new domestic energy boom. Will this sort of tangled legislation hold it up? I mean, is it gonna be years now before some of this natural gas and oil can be recovered because of litigation?
Well, that's also a good question. What we're actually seeing in North Dakota is the oil companies are forging ahead with their drilling. They're certainly not slowing down the oil production, and actually it's at record pace right now, 535,000 barrels a day in North Dakota, which was way above what state budget officials thought for estimates. But what they're actually halting are payments to the residents in the state. So the oil companies are certainly seeing the profits, and they're certainly extracting that oil. But the landowners, the mineral rights owners, are not seeing the royalty payments yet.
We have a chart on the screen that shows the increase in North Dakota oil production. A fascinating turnaround in a state that really had been characterized for decades by people leaving, going to other places to find work. It has to be really shaking the place up.
It is, yeah. The population is booming and swelling. I mean, I think there's a whole lot of just fallout from that. And I've spoken to people up in Williston, North Dakota, this little town that now has become a boom town essentially, and they can't find enough teachers to staff the schools, and crime is swelling, and so there's a whole lot of after effects, and housing has been a huge problem. So it's going to be interesting to see how they figure everything out and how sort of the infrastructure catches up to the boom.